I'm not going to Buffalo, load management, so green light night.
We have worked together so long, we even laugh in unison. You're supposed to go up at the Hey, welcome to SportsCenter with Jay and Dan, brought to you by Tim Hortons. Toronto Maple Leafs in action in Nashville. Great place to play hockey. The Leafs going in with 1 goal, don't allow 15 goals in a game.
Yeah, they'd allowed 23 over their last 4 games, and it's safe to say that Saturday's loss to Ottawa was a low point in the season. A low point in the season for Leaf Nation. But Dan, there's no reason to believe that the Buds couldn't bounce back in the country music capital of the world. All right, less than 5 minutes in. Jake Muzzin. High-profile acquisition. That's a turnover. Brian Boyle's going to play give and go with Craig Smith and beat Freddie Anderson. So that is 5 straight games that the Leafs have given up the first goal. That makes it 1-0 Nashville. Same period, Leafs power play. Austin Matthews. Great move. Nice little shot. Easy save for Pecorine. Matthews, 30 points in 28 road games this season. Leafs down 1 after 22nd period. Another Toronto power play. It's Nashville with the best chance. Ryan Johansson off the post. That close to a 2-goal lead. In the third, under 11 to go, Igor Ozhiganov caught taking away the wrong passing lane. Wayne Simmons, Scarborough native. Of course, we do this show from downtown Scarborough, across from the mall. Fred shut out Toronto for the 2nd time this season. For more, it's Masters Lock. Yeah! Let's go to Nashville. There's Mark Masters. Mark, another tough loss for the Buds. Can Leafs Nation take any positives away from this one?
Yes, they can. That's a master's lock right there, that the Leafs were going to be positive about this one after the game. It's because they made improvements defensively. You allow 23 goals in a 4-game stretch. You're not going to rebuild it all right away. And they walked into Nashville tonight against a very good defensive team. They held their own. They felt like they generated enough chances to have won this game. They ran into a hot goalie, and they feel good about how they adjusted defensively, and they feel good about how Frederik Andersen looked. He looked a lot more comfortable. He felt like he overplayed the first goal maybe a bit, but otherwise was a bit more in his zone, and that's huge because they need him to be great. So there was a lot of positives despite the loss tonight.
Leafs, they don't even get to enjoy Nashville. They now get on the road because they're in Buffalo on Wednesday night. Any lineup changes for that one?
We know there'll be one. Garrett Sparks draws in as the starter, back-to-back situation. Mike Babcock sticking with his usual rotation. Will be intriguing to see how Sparks reacts after what he said is himself wasn't a very good performance in Ottawa on Saturday night, a performance that he followed up by then calling for the team to show more emotion. So it'll be intriguing to see how he responds to that. Martin Marincin missed tonight's game due to illness. I'm sure if he's healthy, he maybe draws in. Igor Ozhiganov, of course, out of position on the second Nashville goal. Didn't look comfortable at times, so maybe Babcock makes a change to his defense. But with Frederic Gauthier out for sure for tomorrow's game against the Sabres, I don't suspect we'll see anything changing up front. Maybe Tyler Ennis, but it doesn't look like there'll be a lot of changes for that game in Buffalo.
Mark, thank you so much.
Anytime.
The Montreal Canadiens entered Tuesday with 10 games to go. 10 games to grab a playoff spot, which they sat 3 points out of. How does a team approach this every game could be the end of it all type situation? I asked the Habs' Max Domi that question last week. He said simply, quote, playoff hockey in March. Love it. Habs facing the Flyers, who sat behind Montreal, 6 points back of the wild card. Late first.
This is that terrifying highlight music.
It's like Knight Rider. This cut Kaniemi down the wing around. Shane Gostisbehere cuts to the net, stopped by Carter Hart. You know, Kotkaniemi still looking for his first road goal. He scored all 11 at home. Under 2 to play in the first. Point shot. Doesn't get through. Rebound gets to Brendan Gallagher. Buries the rebound. Gallagher matching a career high with his 31st of the season. 1-0 Montreal. Under 5 minutes into the second. Habs win the draw. Max Domi feeds Shea Weber. One-timer. It's through. Weber has his 12. Habs up 2-0 after 40. I keep saying the score at the same time as Brian Mudryk. The score, 3.5 minutes into the third. John Couturier dishes to the point from behind the net. Gostisbehere shot beats Carey Price, not the post. A few minutes later, Flyers power play. Claude Giroux puts it on net. It's knocked down. Couturier puts it away. His 30th. So the Flyers within one. Again, Brian Mudryk and I saying the score at the same time. Just over a minute to go in regulation. Flyers in that empty. Domi chases down a loose puck, seals it. His 25th of the season. Habs pick up a massive 2 points.
So that loss, or that win by Montreal means Columbus now just 1 point up on Montreal for the final wild card spot in the East. Columbus in Calgary to take on the Flames, who had already locked down their postseason position. Zach Werenski beats David Rittich. Werenski's 11th of the year, and the Jackets are up 1-0 just over 2 minutes later. Derek Ryan to Johnny Hockey. Johnny Hockey, 35 on the season, beating Sergei Bobrovsky. Now 2-1 Flames in the second. This, an incredible goal from Michael Frolik. Oh, you're on the guy. You got me, Bobrovsky. Blue Jackets down 3-1 on Frolik's 50. Still in the second. Pierre-Luc Dubois. Yep, post. Big save, Dave, giving the post a little love. Moments later, Noah Hanifin takes the David Savard shot right off the head. Hanifin averaging nearly 20 minutes a game this season, a career high. Rittich out to check on him right away. Hanifin left the game briefly, but returned later in the period. Here's an angle on it.
Oh.
But he did return later in the period, so that's terrific, terrific news. Still 3-1 for Calgary in the third. Oliver Bjorkstrand rips it over Rittich. 15th, Jackets within one. Moments after that, Dubois, one-timer. Oh, big save, Dave. Just one regulation loss at home all season. 4-2 Flames is the final. For weeks now, producer Tim has been trying to tell us that the Oilers had no shot at the postseason. And yes, we agreed the chances were slim at best. But Tuesday, the Oilers had a chance to prove Tim and the rest of the doubters wrong, and begin an historic run to the postseason against another team fighting for a spot in the Western Conference. Let's see how they did, shall we? Against the St. Louis Blues. Surely they'd bring everything they had to St. Louis. All right, they're down one here, and Alex Pietrangelo scores. Okay, they're down 2-0. So they're down 2-0 early in the second. Then Jaden Schwartz from the slot, and that beats Mikko Koskinen, so that's it for him. Here comes Anthony Stolarz. A minute later, it's the former Oiler David Perron off Stolarz and in. So that's the Blues with 3 goals before Edmonton got a shot in the second period. Surely someone could do something. Could it be Zach Kassian fighting his former teammate and friend Pat Maroon? And Pat Maroon, to his credit, did not have to fight here with his team up 4-0, but he did, and this was a terrific tilt. Kassian throwing lefts, Maroon throwing lefts, and then going to rights. That actually seemed to spark the Oilers. McDavid looked to extend a 12-game point streak. Jordan Binnington gets a piece, and then Edmonton native Colton Parayko able to swat it away, robbing McDavid of the goal. Minute to play in the second. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. That puck actually crossed the line. The Nuge has 24 on the season. Kassian getting love from Hitch. Minute later, Kassian. This also crossed the line. They initially said no goal. Zach Kassian has played much better under Ken Hitchcock. No question about that. Third period, Blues power play. Braden Shen point shot. Tipped in by Perron. That restores a 3-goal lead. Maroon would score. Schwartz looking for a hat trick. He's got it. McDavid's point streak is snapped. No goals for Leon Draisaitl. Gah for Edmonton. Dallas hosting Florida. Ben Bishop left Thursday's game with a lower body injury. Alexander Barkov, hottest player in the NHL right now. The streak snapper. 15 points in his previous 6 games. Not a ton of people in Dallas for this one. Jonathan Huberdeau sends it on net off the stick of Radek Faksa off Barkov. It's in. Barkov had 2 on the night. Ben Bishop's shutout streak is over at 233 minutes and 4 seconds. Third period, Tyler Seguin keeps it in. Jamie Benn to Alexander Radulov for his 23rd. He is so fired up. The Stars are up 3-2. Net empty. Radulov looking for the empty net goal. And Mike Hoffman, like Tom Hanks in Castaway. A spear fisherman. And that's a goal, by the way. Big, big win for Dallas. How big? Look how they have separated themselves further for that first wild card spot. Sitting pretty over Arizona. The Avs, as Dan mentioned, just 2 back Arizona, Minnesota 1 back. No meaningful games Wednesday in the Western Conference wildcard race. The Avs do travel to Dallas Thursday. That is huge. Arizona heads to Florida. The Wild do not play until Friday.
In the East, we showed you how the Habs won and the Jackets lost, moving Montreal a point back at the second wild card, held by the BJs. The other wild card is in the Canes' hands. They were playing Tuesday against the Pens, who they are trying to catch. Isles and Caps also in action, not against each other, but they are fighting for the Metro Division title.
Carolina, huge 2 points. And now what celebration will occur? It will be the Duck Hunt celebration. Duck Hunt, popular Nintendo game. Canes, big 3-2 OT win.
For the top of the Metro, while the Canes get some separation in the wild card race. We mentioned what's going on with Montreal there. On Thursday, Montreal is at home to the Isles because nothing's really happening with the wild card spots on Wednesday. No teams battling for the wild card plays then. And Carolina hosts Tampa Bay on Thursday, and Columbus, they visit the Oil, also Thursday. Still to come, going big game fishing. Trout reels in a Goliath deal. All the details up next.
You're watching the television program Jay and Dan. Look at Steph Curry, just casually hitting jumpers from center court before the game against the Minnesota Timberwolves on Tuesday. Karl Anthony Towns. T-Wolves wearing their Prince uniforms with the purple. They look great. He had a team-high 26. Curry in the third quarter. Very close game. Nice pass to Kevin Durant. Real nice. Dan calls that a home run pass. Later, Curry. This is his 300th three-pointer of the season. And then splitting the D, handing it off, getting it back, and 3 of his 36. Golden State wins again.
In-N-Out is a fast food chain. I never knew of it until I visited California.
It was, yeah, I had
some
some last
as a Canadian,
week.
you don't really hear about it.
Well, you hear about it from people who go down to
Yeah.
Southern California.
You know who doesn't like it?
Or Vegas. Yeah. Guess who thinks it's overrated? Producer Tim.
Yep.
Producer Tim is beyond overrated. According to ESPN's Jeff Hassan, we're not sure on the pronunciation of his name. We're going to figure it out. Mike Trout is close to finalizing a 12-year extension with the Angels worth approximately $430 million, making it the largest contract in pro sports history. The deal would nullify the final 2 years remaining on his current 6-year deal and replace it with a new deal that extends through the 2030 season. Trout, a 2-time MVP and widely considered the best player in all of Major League Baseball, would earn an average annual salary of $35 million.
So that's a lot of money. And you start thinking, you're like, I wonder if anyone predicted this.
Yeah.
Let's have a peek. We were discussing this before the show. Trout, he's going to make, his contract will be for over $400 million.
Yeah, or around 400. I mean, yeah, if Harper makes 330, hey, just tax $70 million on, you got Trout. And we are good. We are very
You know
good.
what we did? We called it.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you to our studio audience. I love doing the show in front of a live audience like this. Tim Hortons drive-through. My daughter asked for her favorite treat today, a Tim Hortons croissant.
Oh, they are good.
She destroyed it in seconds.
Regular croissant or cheese croissant?
Just the regular. She likes the regular croissant. She enjoys it. She enjoys French pastries. Leafs lost. Oilers lost. Jaden Schwartz, 4th career hat trick. Good Saskatchewan boy. The Habs beat the Flyers 3-1. Brendan Gallagher, Shea Weber, Max Domi scored for Montreal. Montreal just 1 point back of that second wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. Flames beat the Blue Jackets 4-2. Calgary has now won 4 of its last 5 games, and they helped out Montreal a little bit there. The Jennies, as we continue to wait for producer Tim's new elaborate graphics package, which may never come. Devin Dubnyk got his stick stuck. We're talking stick stuck.
He was working at it. The Avalanche actually
Stick
stepped on
stuck.
Lakers Bucks. Ball gets caught above the backboard. Who gets that? Well, they're gonna use the court mop. We're talking court mop. Talking court mop.
Court Mops would be a good band to play at South by Southwest. You going to see the Court Mops this afternoon?
They probably are already a band.
John Tavares robbed by Vezina Trophy winner Pecorine.
I mentioned this name earlier in the show. Just a great name. Mackenzie Blackwood.
Comes into the glove. What a stop by Mackenzie Blackwood.
Big glove save.
What a stop strike. He came right out.
I feel like this should be the highlight of the night from Michael Frolik.
On the back end.
Oh, that's nice. This is a better angle here. Yes. Beating Sergei.
Josh Hart? Where are you going with that? Where are you going with that pass?
Could that be the worst play of the day?
Might be.
We'll have to stay tuned to find out. James Harden, what a terrific player. Between the legs twice, little teardrop.
Beauty. He's got
Poor Kent Bazemore.
22-19.
He spun around. He doesn't know where he is.
Here we go again.
Yeah, Trip Tracy.
This one,
He's,
spray.
yeah.
No
You aren't going to spray him.
Got some goggles on.
He looks like the actor Tate Donovan.
He's always energetic. He's been there a long time.
Yeah, Tate Donovan. He was on the OC. Remember that show, Dan?
I know it existed, I just never watched. Now, for the rest of the stories you need to know, it's time for the Jay and Dan Newsroom. The Raptors' Kyle Lowry listed as questionable for Wednesday's game against the Thunder. It's because of a sprained right ankle. Rookie Mitchell Robinson fell on top of Lowry's ankle and twisted it during the third quarter of Monday night's game against the Knicks. Lowry's already missed 13 games this season, including 2 last week, nursing his other ankle. So, problems with both ankles.
Meanwhile, baseball season fast approaching. Did you just say problems with both ends?
Ankles.
Okay. This season's version of the Blue Jays coming into form. Outfielder Anthony Alford, catcher Reese McGuire did not crack the opening day roster. They've been sent back down to Buffalo. Top prospect Bo Bichette may get a chance to showcase his skills in the second game against the Brewers in Montreal, but will also likely be sent to AAA before the regular season starts. Bichette, by the way, hit .417 in 36 at-bats, 4 home runs this spring. And Charlie Montoya also says Tuesday, Billy McKinney, Tim Meza, and Joe Biagini have made the club. So my Blue Jays Biagini jersey is still relevant for another year.
The Jays opened the 2019 season Thursday at home against the Tigers, and they've introduced a new, cheaper menu at the Dome. Which brings us to another edition of Sports Food.
This is another segment producer Tim hates, and that's why I love it.
They're calling the promotion Dugout Deals, with items costing less than $5. All your ballpark faves like beer, hot dogs, and a carton of milk. Okay, so this is the exact picture they tweeted out. Guess what's missing? The fine print. All these items here are available at only 3 concession stands throughout the entire stadium. 3!
That's been sports food. Why just 3? Is it that hard to offer hot dogs at all the concession stands?
But here's the thing.
And cartons of milk?
Here's the thing.
Here's Dan's 2 cents.
You get the fans in, and then you want to infuriate them?
Yeah, you want to make it like a mystery? You've got to find the concessions. We're not going to tell you where they are. You've got to track them down.
And then you get to the concession, and there'll be a massive lineup, and you miss the game. Like, they were so close to getting it right.
There should just be 1 concession stand for the milk cartons alone.
Get your milk here.
Get your ice cold milk here. The UFC's heading back.
Who goes to a baseball game and gets milk? I know
what I
kids
could
go,
use?
but
A cold glass of homogenized milk. Oh, well, good. There's 3 concession stands in this entire dome where I can get it.
we're all out of milk again.
Again, we've sold out of the milk. Bring the cows in. Cowboy Cerrone is going to be fighting Al Iaquinta at UFC Fight Night in Ottawa, May the 4th. That's a big, big fight. Good for Ottawa. Cerrone looking to extend his UFC record for most wins, 22 after he beat Alexander Hernandez via TKO at Fight Night 143 in January. Love Cowboy Cerrone. He wanted to fight Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor wanted to fight him, but Ariel Helwani says now, Dan, this paves the way for Conor Nate Diaz 3.
Guess who else is going to Ottawa?
We are.
Friday.
This Friday, podcast, Algonquin College, your alma mater. We're doing it live.
I finally get my diploma. After
I have bad news for you, Dan. You didn't get enough credits.
After a decade in Green Bay, Clay Matthews is headed to L.A. Rams signed Matthews to a 2-year deal worth over $16 million. According to Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network, our good buddy, he added that Matthews has bigger deals on the table, but chose the Rams because he wanted to stay closer to home. I guess the practice facility is right next to his house.
That's right. That's right.
And he played at USC.
That's important when you live in L.A. to have a nice short commute.
That's right. That concludes another informative edition with Jay and Dan Newsroom. Who put together that menu and figured people want a carton of milk?
You know what? That's what we're missing.
Like,
is fresh, cold milk. Milk was a bad choice.
NCAA March Madness gets underway in earnest on Thursday, so there's still a little bit of time left to fill out your bracket.
And making your picks can be challenging. That's why you always want expert advice, Dan. When we need help, we go to the best.
Every year, thousands of people are confounded about how to fill out their March Madness bracket. If you're unsure of your picks, don't fill in your bracket. Fill in your bracket! Fill in Your Bracket is the only March Madness app that lets your bracket be personally selected by Pittsburgh Penguins forward Phil Kessel. Fill in Your Bracket gives you the best college picks that matter, streakers, scorers, and teams whose logos resemble hot dogs. Be a part of the hundreds that have discovered Fill in Your Bracket. Mike from Halifax says Phil filled out half my bracket, then said he was effing off to go fishing for a bit. John from Winnipeg raves, all my picks are Pitt and they're not even in the tournament. And Penguins center Evgeny Malkin says Phil once called a softball a basketball. We were confused. Don't let your bracket be
Not good, eh?
Fill in your bracket.
Phil. I hope Phil has his own show on TSN when he retires.
For real, I hope he becomes a broadcaster when he's done. We are your home for exclusive coverage of March Madness. Madness begins Thursday, noon Eastern, across the TSN network. Brought to you by Crave Food.
Yeah. So again, Crave TV, Crave Food. We've got it all here at Bell.
Still to come.
Tremendously exciting edition of the Jay and Dan podcast. This week, our guest was our own cameraman, Glenn. Told some fascinating stories about television here in downtown Scarborough.
Yeah, he worked on the Littlest Hobo. So we learned all about the dogs. Because there was more than one hobo.
Spoiler alert.
No, bro.
This is the worst play of the day. Ball gets stuck. Brooke Lopez grabs a mop and pokes it free.
Way to go, Brooke. Highlight of the night. Pecorine denies John Tavares. Beautiful stop. And not just the initial stop, but the rebound as well. Really, the rebound was the key. Rene with another shutout of the Leafs last night.
You blew it. We point out our errors. We have never had a list
Oh my gosh, we were bad on this show.
this long.
Worse
so there we
than
go.
usual.
Okay, off the top of the show, we blew it. I said we've worked together so long, we laugh in unison, then we didn't laugh in unison. You blew it. You struggled through saying and begin an historic run of the playoffs.
And historic is always a tough one.
I blew it during the Bruins pack. I couldn't say Noel Achari's name. I blew it during the top 10. I struggled saying backhand because I was really phlegmy. Hound Dog Harrison did some digging. He's our stats guy. He couldn't find a band called the Court Mops, but he did find a Japanese psychedelic rock garage band called the Mops. And
They're probably playing South by Southwest.
And the Jays blew it with their terrible dugout deals.
Yeah,
Again, they were so close. It's a great idea, but failed to execute.
But again, I like your White Russians idea. You get a vodka sponsor on board,
Yeah.
right?
Then you need
Was it vodka Kahlua milk, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's a delicious.
Make that the official drink of the Blue Jays this year.
That's the drink you want on a hot summer's day.
Just like the dude. Thank you, Mark.
We're out of here. Clear this up, right?